What's up everyone? Welcome back to the Marketing Nomad YouTube channel. I am the Marketing Nomad. Alrighty, today's Friday, so I usually do a weekly recap of sorts. So I started implementing a couple of new strategies from March of this year and kind of wanted to give you an update about that as well. I feel like many of those strategies that I've implemented have now sort of become my identity because there's a process to me showing up for those particular strategies, and that kind of became part of my routine, and now it's kind of becoming who I am as a person. It's kind of becoming part of my identity to be showing up in a particular way for my business. I also think that one of the things that I am understanding about myself through this entire process, especially this year, is what kind of an entrepreneur do I want to be? You know, I feel like I'm answering that question through many of the decisions that I am making, and I feel like I wasn't given this chance to ask myself this question or even answer it because I was kind of in survival mode with respect to my business for the first 5 years. Like, I was barely making ends meet as much as possible. I was trying to make it to the next month. So I don't necessarily think there was any space or time or opportunity given to me to ask this question of me. Now that my business is stepping out of survival mode and we're stepping into thriving mode, I can feel like we're starting to stabilize into thriving mode. I feel like that opens a lot of space for me to answer this question as to what kind of an entrepreneur do I want to be? How do I want to show up for myself and my business? And I think it's incredible. I wasn't expecting that to happen. I didn't know it happens also. But I think that when your business is stabilizing, when things are starting to kind of have a more grounded structure, stable foundation, and you're able to thrive upon that, you know, you've spent the initial years of your business creating those roots, creating that stable foundation, and now you're in a phase where you get to not only understand how your hard work has converted into a stable foundation, but you also get to enjoy that a little bit. You also get to understand how you want to expand from that. I feel like there is now space given to you to understand how you want to show up. There's also that layer of freedom coming through to help you figure out what kind of a business owner or an entrepreneur you want to be. Because during the initial years, I didn't really have time to think about all this. I mean, I was in survival mode. I was just focused on how do I make it to the next month. That's pretty much it. It was a very, very focused effort that I did have at that point in time, and I couldn't think about anything else. But this has been a shift. This has been a beautiful shift that I am experiencing with respect to my business, and like, knock on wood, it's one of the things that I've realized when you step out of the survival mode years of your business and you start stepping into thriving mode, there is space given to you to figure out how you want to show up, and you get to align with that as well. There's a little bit more freedom that comes after you've kind of gone through the survival mode stage of putting in all of your hard work to create a stable foundation, you know, moving through the extreme highs and lows. When things start to maybe not necessarily move away from the extreme highs and lows, but at least that foundation is giving you something to stand on, you know. And I feel like 6 years in, there's something for me to stand on. And because there is something for me to stand on, I feel like there's space for me to understand what kind of an entrepreneur do I want to show up as. And I've been making those decisions for myself. I feel like that has come very specifically in the last 2 or 3 months for me. It has been eye-opening. It has been different, the choices that I'm making for myself. Like, for example, compulsorily making Sundays off for me, like no work on Sundays. During the first 5 years of my entrepreneurial journey, there were months where I could not afford to take that Sunday off. I just couldn't. I was in survival mode. I needed every single day. Like, if I missed one single day, it would have an immediate effect on my revenue. So I really couldn't. As much as I would try to give myself mental health breaks every now and then, during the initial stages, I didn't have that choice, but today, extremely lucky, privileged, honored, blessed to be given that space to make that decision for myself. Like, if you choose to, you can be an entrepreneur that allows yourself the Sunday off. That's where I've kind of made it to at this point in time, but I do recognize that at one point I couldn't make this decision for myself, and that's the survival mode that I was talking about. And so there are decisions that I'm making for my business from a more thriving mode, I guess I'd say, and it has been very different for me to experience, because now it's not I have to work on Sunday, otherwise it's going to affect my revenue directly. No, I get to choose. Do I want to put myself through that, or do I not? That choice, being given the freedom of that choice, has been the result of the years of hard work that I put in when I had no choice. And that has been very beautiful for me to experience. And so now I'm making all of these decisions about what kind of an entrepreneur do I want to be. And I made that decision. I said, okay, I want to be an entrepreneur that gives Sundays off. That's it. I do not work on Sundays. I've worked hard to come to a point where there is that freedom to choose. So I'm going to make that choice for myself. I could have chosen the other way. Yes, absolutely. But I felt that giving myself Sunday off would put me in better spirits for the next week. Like, that would be my reset day of sorts. And so giving me like a compulsory reset day every single week is more helpful. And I felt like, okay, that's the kind of entrepreneur that I want to be. It could also be like with respect to other aspects of my business as well. Like, how do I want to show up? If there's something maybe a little bit messy in one aspect of my business, during my survival mode days, I had no choice but to panic and like think and go deep into it and just like, immerse myself into it. But today, I feel like I'm making a choice that, okay, I want to be a calm entrepreneur. Like, yes, that is messy. Yes, things are not going okay in that particular aspect, but we're going to deal with it calmly, or to the best of our ability. We are going to keep calm. We're going to center ourselves, balance ourselves. And I feel like I didn't have the freedom to choose when I was in survival mode with respect to my business, and especially during the initial years. It was really, really hard. I really didn't have this choice, but I'm getting this choice today. And first off, people talk about growth in terms of revenue, and while that has been the case with my business as well, I don't think that people talk a lot about the freedom that comes as you grow as a business, and that too is a sign of growth as well. And I've been recognizing that. And so a lot of the last 2-3 months of decisions that I've been making have been about what kind of an entrepreneur do I want to be? How do I want to show up for myself and for my business? I get to choose today because, well, we've gone through a phase where we couldn't choose, and we've made it to a point where now we can choose. So what kind of an entrepreneur do I want to be? How do I want to show up? And that is a bit confusing sometimes because I don't necessarily have the answer. I've just been so used to just putting my head down and just showing up, not caring about anything else, not given the opportunity to care about how I was showing up or what I was doing, just showing up and just like putting in like everything that I have. But to be given an opportunity to decide how I want to show up first off, it makes me very emotional. It's also a testament to how much I've changed as a person and how much has grown with my business and what I've built as well. But it's also a little bit confusing because, like, what is the answer? What's the right answer? There is no right answer. It has to be what feels aligned to me. And that's scary because now I'm not just making strategic decisions for my business. I'm also getting to decide what kind of an entrepreneur do I want to show up as. And that's a big responsibility. That's a big responsibility, but I'm grateful. I'm extremely grateful, and I feel extremely privileged. I feel like it's truly like divine's blessing that I'm able to choose. I'm able to have the freedom to decide what kind of an entrepreneur I want to be, because I really didn't get that choice for the first 5 or 6 years. I mean, like I said, it's only been in the last 2 or 3 months that this is starting to come up. Like these choices are starting to come up for me. I didn't have that. I really didn't have that for the first 5 or 6 years. So that's been heavy on my mind. This is more of like me sharing my introspection with you, because like Fridays are usually like this, right? We kind of sit down and talk about like what's on my mind and what's been heavy and stuff like that. But yeah, that's been a shift with respect to my business and with respect to the business growth. Like, yes, people talk about the revenue, people talk about like maybe fame sometimes, so on and so forth. For me, it's been the freedom to choose. That's been the biggest indicator of growth with respect to my business. I'm like, knock on wood. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm choosing what kind of an entrepreneur that I want to be, what kind of a business owner do I want to be, and I'm doing my best to be in alignment with my core values, my belief systems, who I am as a person, and what feels right to me, what feels aligned to me. But it's scary. It's a bit scary to make these decisions. It's a bit overwhelming as well. I'm like, okay, what if I make the wrong decision? What if? There's a lot of those thoughts that are coming to me, but I'm going to follow my feeling of alignment. I'm just gonna show up according to what feels aligned to me. And I'm hoping that that kind of takes me where I need to be and become a version of myself that I feel aligned to. So that's where I'm at. I'm being given the freedom to choose, and yeah, no one ever told me this. I don't think there are conversations about this outside of I don't think so. I don't think I've seen any conversations about this. The freedom to choose what kind of an entrepreneur, business owner that you wish to be. Yeah, because when you are in your survival mode, you don't get to choose. You really don't get to choose. You just have to put your head down, show up for your business day in, day out. You just have to do that. There is no time, space, or energy for you to think about anything else, to breathe or anything. You're in survival mode, right? I feel like it's like the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You're more focused on like staying afloat and managing your business and making sure that you have revenue for that particular month. You're able to pay the expenses of your business. There's a lot that you're kind of trying to fulfill your basic needs first, so you don't have time to think about anything else. And once you've passed that stage of your business where the basic needs are being taken care of and it's kind of become like a well-oiled machine, and now it's the next stage of growth where there's actually space for you to think about how you want to be, how you want to show up. No one told me about this. I really didn't know that this happens. And it happens like overnight. Like 6 years I was in one mode, and now suddenly I feel like I've stepped into a different mode where I'm being asked these questions. Like my business is showing up in different ways and asking me these questions like, what decision are you going to make? Because you get to choose how you want to show up now. So I'm enjoying it, yes. I'm enjoying it, yes, but it's also a little bit scary, but I'm taking it one day at a time, taking things as it comes, but I'm also recognizing what a blessing this is. Like, it is an absolute privilege, and it is something that I need to also, first off, like thank divine, thank the universe, I guess, but it's more of, I also have to recognize how far I've come to get to this point where I've built something that gives me the freedom to choose how I want to show up, at least to a certain degree, to a certain extent. So that to me signifies progress with respect to my business. It also, I'm not able to speak, it's just a bit emotional for me. It also represents how far I've come as well. So yeah, that's where I'm at today. Like I said, these videos are me documenting my journey. This is where I am at today. No one ever told me I get to choose, and I'm like, what? I am getting to choose? This is me, I get to choose. Is there a catch over here? But no, there hasn't been any catch. And for the last 2 or 3 months, I've seen this pattern. Question pops up at me. Okay, well, what do you want to choose? You get to choose now. So what kind of entrepreneur do you want to be? You get to choose. So that's where I'm at. And I hope to continue choosing in alignment with my highest good. I hope to be intentional about choosing what kind of an entrepreneur do I want to show up as. And yeah, to stay in alignment with my highest good, with what's meant for me, and with the universe as well. I've got to definitely thank like my spirit guide teams, my higher self, and the universe. I definitely have to thank, because I don't think I would have come here or made it to this point without any of them. So that's there. But I also have to thank my past self for like putting her head down and just moving forward day to day. She didn't really have a choice at that point in time. But I don't necessarily think I had time to even think about, oh, do I have a choice? Do I not have a choice? It was just survival mode. You just had to do it. So I don't even think I knew there was going to be a phase where I would get to choose. So I don't think I ever felt like I was missing out on this. But now that it's here, now that it's my life, it's like, wow, something's expanded in my understanding of business stages and growth stages of a business. And this is more of the intangible growth signs that you see with respect to creating something and building something that feels aligned to you. Alrighty, that's where I want to leave you for today. If you too have experienced that with respect to your business, let me know. I would love to hear your experience. And if you're in the survival mode, then maybe this kind of helps you understand what's next for you. Let me know your thoughts. Absolutely. I really have not heard anyone talking about this, or maybe it just hasn't come across to me. It hasn't come on my feed. But yeah, the freedom to choose, at least to the degree of your growth, at some point you get to choose what kind of an entrepreneur you want to be. And that's a sign that you're stepping out of the survival mode and you're stepping into thriving, or at least growth stages of your business. Alrighty, if this video helped you in some way, or you like this video, definitely do give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, because that tells you every single time I do upload a YouTube video. Take care, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.